Chapter 9 Basic Elements of Individual Behavior in Organizations. And my name is Caitlin Stoudemire. Understanding individuals in organization. Basically, what it means is when you start a new job, an individual can do a personable psychological contract with oneself concerning with their prospective attitude and contributions towards their new job. Of course, they wouldn't want to hire somebody that doesn't contribute to the company, and the company can't benefit from the individual. And it can be in multiple ways, such as their effort, abilities, loyalty, skills, and time. Inducements is when the organization provides for individual, for example, pay, job security, benefits, career, promotion, opportunities, and status. Once they achieve that, then they get higher opportunities. In conclusion, the organization and the employee will be working in union. The individual's psychological contract should be mentioned so the employer can come to an agreement with you and a possible raise, like I had said previously. A personal job fit personally to me is pretty interesting. It means to when the contributions made by the individual match the inducements offered by the organization. Thus, when a utility worker works on a house and sees a tree limb that could cause harm to the customers and they take their own liberty to remove the limb, the worker is one step closer to achieving their person job fit. And some may not achieve to the certain level that the employers would like from the employees, but of course no one is perfect and the employees don't know the exact level as which the employer would like them to achieve or get close to. Personality and individual behavior. Personality sets everyone apart by their own psychological and behavioral attributes. Managers need to take those great characteristics that people have to analyze each and every one when possible. Of course, there are certain circumstances that don't allow them to be doing it constantly, but once there is an available circumstances and they are able to watch and learn how the individual acts, it will make both of them benefit out of it. And of course, there's thousands of personality traits, but thankfully psychological analysis were made and they were able to reduce it in 5 main traits, very common traits. One is agreeableness, a person's ability to get along with others. The second is conscientiousness, a person's ability to manage multiple tasks and meet deadlines. And of course the third, and so on. And you can see here how everyone can relate to it, and it is very common with every individual. Another approach to understanding others or own personalities is by using Myers-Briggs framework. And here it explains the 4 dimensions: extroversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, and judging versus perceiving. Of course, there is some work-related attitudes, and it could affect how the person is, their performance while they're working at the company. There is a attitudes are a mixture of beliefs and feelings and are used for specific ideas, situations, or other people. Everyone is born with an opinion. Attitude can be shown not just by action, but also face, gestures, and through the body. When attitudes are conflicting and causes conflicts with others, it is called cognitive dissonance. One may say they would never join a big company, but circumstances may change, leading them to have no choice but to take an undesired job. Of course, there is multiple situations that come in life that may push somebody to do something that they're not willing to do. And so it pushes them to do what they thought was never a possibility. But it turns out that it is a good decision that they had made. Perception is key for maintaining a job because without it, if the person is unaware and they misinterpret the information, just like this cat, for instance, in the picture, they can perceive themselves as a lion, which can be positive because they think they are fierce and are positive towards themselves. But also, you can always think too highly of yourself, and that could be a negative effect. And also there is called selective perception, which is being able to screen out information that contradicts with your beliefs. Labeling people is very known as being a stereotype, and of course it's known to be a negative characteristic or trait that someone has, because it is unfair to judge a person just by seeing or knowing information about them, but you sincerely don't know who they are or how they are unless you're actually that actual person. Another process is attribution, which is when someone observes a behavior and tends to find a cause to it, which is not such a very good characteristic or something you want to keep doing. If you have a high consistency of it, it could lead to being a stereotype person. A stress in individual behavior. General adaptation syndrome, which is known as the initials GAS, is the cycle of a stress process. There is a total of 3 stages. The first is alarm, which basically is a response to a stressful event. But the stressful event or the stressors could be positive or negative. It doesn't always have to be negative. It could be positive. You could be stressing about having a raise and maybe you think you're not fulfilling that opportunity. And the second is resistance. Is the stressor resistance to the stressor and may end the stress. But of course everyone's different. 3 is if the stressor is still layering and causes exhaustion, which can lead to the person falling asleep or giving up, or also it could also lead to motivation and excitement. There is type A and type B personalities. Type A is extremely competitive, devoted, and strong urgency. Type B is the direct opposite. Multiple demands of task roles and interpersonal are causes of stress. And of course, there's many different types of stress. Exhaustion causes burnout when too much stress is built up from amount of time. Exercise is a great way to motivate you and relieve stress. And personally, that's what I would love. That's all I do when I am in stress and when I have a lot of assignments due, I go work out. And I love going to do Zumba. Creativity in organizations. Creativity is the ability to create new ideas and perspective. Most people that are creative are born in the environment of creativity, which they benefit highly with, but of course everyone doesn't have that opportunity. Thomas Edison and Marie Curie were examples of people that were around the environments of creativity. Personally, I was around creativity and that's why till this day I am very creative. And also, if you are intelligent, you're using your cognitive abilities, which when someone is intelligent, they have a high potential at being creative. Many think when they are being creative, not many thoughts are being prepared or being used. However, there is a series of steps that many do not realize. Preparation is basically schooling and training. Of course, there's a variation between every individual. Incubation, concentration, and knowledge. Insight, breakthrough, and new experiences. Once you go through the insight process, then you find out if you're still going through the same mindset, the same perspective as you was from the beginning, and you can find new choices, new breakthroughs. And that is where verification is the last step, and prototypes are made, and maybe what your main goal was from the beginning is actually proven correct. Type of workplace behavior is introduced while at work directly or indirectly influences the individual. Some show withdrawals such as absenteeism, which relates to excessive days missed from work. And I am personally a secretary, and I can relate when many people don't show up to work. And it can be very aggravating. Their actions can be a reflection of themselves or the company due to lower morale or other factors. Or of course, not just that one division, it could be the actual whole entire company. But turnovers can be beneficial or they could be costly. Of course, we don't want it to be costly, but most of the time it is, sadly. It's because of lower performance work, they quit, and then the company benefits, of course. Turnovers cannot be controlled when an offered job security and raises. Even that can't even stop it. Organizational citizenship is when a positive overall contribution is made to the organization. Dysfunctional behaviors are sadly more common, but if the individual is willing, they could work on becoming a better individual. Theft, sabotage, sexual and racial harassment, and politicized behavior are some negative factors. And sadly, it is true, it's very common seen at workplaces. It doesn't actually have to be the coworkers, it also can be sadly the leaders and the management and the managers. Summary: when obtaining a job at a new company, these lessons need to be shown in your performance in order to succeed in a career. Some circumstances are out of your reach, but the ones that are reach for them and make them your advantage. And of course, I chose that picture, which illustrates a female or a male walking past towards theirs to succeed, and they're holding the last piece, but it's up to them in order to put it in the right spot and not to fall. Maybe your original goal wasn't met, but there's always a second choice. As long as there is a positive mindset, clarity, peace, and organization, then you are getting closer to your dream, and of course, there could be more factors, but it's all up to you. Being aware and cognitive will get you far and lead you step by step to new goals that haven't appeared yet or as far as you know. Thank you.